Hello and welcome to Cali Legends Media. Okay, before I get started, I want to thank all the subscribers for your support. Appreciate you all very, very much, okay? A good way to support the channel is hitting that like button. It doesn't cost a dime, and it'll help move the video through the algorithm where it'll get streamed more, okay? So if you could hit that like button, I really appreciate it. So, last night I was chilling, falling asleep, watching the boob tube, and Blue Devil comes on, right? Like I know a lot of you have problems with Blue Devil and think whatever you think about him or whatever, but this isn't about him particularly, okay? He was doing a reaction video on an old ass video that Rodney from LA had did, okay? He did this hood blog with the vatos from Latin Kings. And shortly after, when that video came out, I followed up with a video of my own, okay? Indicating that these vatos, they were slick though. They were slick. They know how to do it, okay? They went and wrote all over this path, okay? I'm going to call it a path, okay? From one end to the next. You know, I don't know if all of them were going down the street and just hitting up all the way and making it look like they were active in that area, you know, and that was their barrio. Now, I don't think these guys know or realize that there was some of us around back in the days when Dan King tried to come and establish a barrio in the neighborhood, okay? And what happened was, what really was the straw that broke the camel's back is they bumper jacked one of my homies, okay? Put him in the hospital, critical condition. They had cracked him in the head a few times with this bumper jack, right? Homies retaliated. They retaliated hard, and they didn't give up. They didn't give these guys a chance to even take a breath. They were just constantly on them, hitting them and hitting them hard, okay? After a couple of 187s, you started hearing less of them, okay? And I even had I had 2 encounters with these guys. Yes, they were trying to set up on Woods in these old apartments, okay? They got in it with my homeboy Cyclone. I took my homeboy Cyclone down there because he wanted to get down with one of these cats. I stood in the car with a gauge, and the homie got off and got down with this vato, you know, in the front of that apartment. My homie lost, you know. The dude put hands on him, but my homie got it off his chest and he went heads with this dude. You know what I mean? And like, you can't take nothing away from my little homie just cause he took an L on that one. But he had the heart to go over there and confront these vatos and do his thing, you know. Anyways, I would say like about 2 weeks later, I'm walking down Whittier Boulevard with my homeboy Chato from Eloyo, okay? I'm sure a lot of you homies that are from the area remember Chato, okay? The one with the bomb. So anyways, me and Chato are walking down Whittier Boulevard, and there was some wet cement where they changed the sidewalk, the configuration of the sidewalk, where you could go up. It was like a ramp, and you could go up on a wheelchair, okay? You know, there was dips on each corner. So you could ride down, cross the street, and go up the ramp There was no curve. That cement was wet, and it was tagged with Latin Kings, with arrows pointing down saying, we're right here. Me and Chato were in a mission, okay? But I still took time. I told the homie, hey, hold up. And I crouched down. I marked them out, put the M's. And while I was doing that, there was these vatos across the street, okay, that were from that neighborhood. And they got up, you know, they had some had 40 ounces beer. There was like 4 of them came walking across the street, and you know, talking their talk, and me and Chato ended up getting down with them. Now, the Whittier Boulevard was so busy that the sheriffs, I even remember that the sheriff that it was Kojak. He couldn't get, he worked the gang unit back then. He couldn't get to us because the cars, you know, were all stopped watching the fight. It was me and Chato against them. And you know, I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to make myself sound some sort of way. And one of the reasons why I mentioned Chato is he's got a good reputation, and anybody who knows him, if he's still alive, can ask him. But anyways, we had him going. We fire up one, had him on his back. The other one would come in, turn around, boom, boom, boom. Get him on his back, the other one would come in, and we're just back and forth, back and forth. Chato was doing the same thing. Finally, one hit me with a 40-ouncer in the back. I still have a piece of glass after all these years. I have a piece of glass stuck in my neck underneath the skin. Anyways, I end up breaking a board off of one of those, you know, those signs with the big round lights that blink. Okay, I don't know if there was a light on it or not, but it was one of those traffic signs that open up and they put on the street. And I broke the top board off, and I start cracking them with the board. Long story short, we gave him the business, just me and the homie, right? Finally, the Juras came, they got to us, and they wanted to check my neck and, you know, put a towel on my neck. He got it out of the trunk and all that. And they wanted to take us out of there. And I told them, nah, we're cool. We're cool. We're just walking. We're just going to Atlantic. We're straight. You know, no, let me just get you out of the area. Blah, 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 blah. We refused. Okay? They took off. We went on our way. That was the end of that incident. About 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, they got at one of my homies and hit him with that bumper jack, right? And these kids probably don't remember the Jack in a Box massacre, but one of my homies took the beef on that, you know, whatever took place that night. I'm not sure, I wasn't there, but I heard about it firsthand, what went down from the homies that I was close with. And man, there was all kinds of moving parts to this stuff that was happening with us and this barrio. Plus, they were beefing with other barrios, you know? So, this little homie says, yeah, this is where it all started. This was our hood. No, that I thought I made it clear in my video, Blue Devil, that no, this was not their hood. Back in the days, they came down and tried to establish themselves. And even when I made that video, was before they did that vlog, and about them coming to East LA and trying to establish themselves, And I got comments on my comment section saying, oh, they probably weren't real Latin kings, you know, the way things went down and the way that, you know, because everybody has heard about the Latin kings and who they are and the way they conduct themselves, you know. This was kind of like a different version, you know. And anyways, so long story short, it's been what, like fucking 20-30 years, and these kids come through and do this writing on this path. Now Blue Devil points out in the video on his reaction, because this dude will walk and go down half a block, show him some tagging, and then backtrack. Go up a little bit, show him some tagging, backtrack. There was a point in the video where they were all going down the alley behind the liquor store, and all of a sudden Rodney from LA was on Whittier Boulevard and had separated from these guys. Well, that alley happened to be the alley where my homeboy Sleepy got shot. Okay, so I wasn't there. I don't know if something took place between my homies and them, but something sure as hell happened. And only Rodney knows, and these youngsters know, okay? But when I made my video after Rodney from LA took these kids through this little walk where they're pointing out, yeah, you see right here, it's tagged. You see right here on the street, it's tagged, you know, and pointing out all of this, this writing. I had made the video saying, no, that part of the barrio was Choppers. This part of the barrio was Ford. This part of the barrio was Winter Gardens. Now, even a homie from these barrios got at me and thanked me because they don't have a platform. They don't have a way of answering this, right? And our barrios don't even get along. But yet they were like, hey, Lucky, hey, gracias for pointing that out, you know? And that was when these vatos claimed part of the Choppers territory. Same thing, a homie from Ford got at me and said, hey, thanks for pointing that out, because you know what? These vatos, they're just fucking around, claiming something. They wouldn't even go down that block where when Blue Devil called it out the first time. That's all Ford down that block. You know, yeah, they had a treno, they were ready to respond or whatever. But honestly, I think there was only one down ass crazy homie with them. You know, the dude all in blue, the one that had to keep correcting the skinny dude. Anyways, you know, it's I don't know if it's recycling old material, you know, to create content. Maybe the homie Blue Devil has too many channels. You know, he's got this channel, that channel, on this and that and the other. But to bring up that old stuff, and even at the end of his reaction, he said, yeah, I think, I'm not sure who, but have a feeling that Kelly Legends Media did a response video about this pedo with these guys. But he's a homie. I had him here. I interviewed him. Well, that's cool. You know, you could interview him as a rapper, even as a gang member. But I was pointing out that those barrios did not belong to him. And he claimed, oh, we got it from up there, from East LA, all the way down to Commerce, from the east side, from the west side to the north side, to the south side, to upside down and around and all this other stuff. It just wasn't true, you know. But that was it was clever though of them to do that. And so far, they're the only ones that I know of that have done that, you know. But once again, I'm going to point out that that video was not real, you know. I even in my video went like the next day, all of the writing was gone, you know. And you know, you could write on walls there all you want. That's the way people tag now. They'll go in your barrio and they'll tag their neighborhood and they'll put arrows like, you know, like we're right here, you know. But these kids, these youngsters, actually said that that was their neighborhood, you know, from East LA to Commerce and through Woods and all. No, that wasn't. That was all Mariana, Choppers, and Ford and Winter Gardens. Anyways, once again, that's my video. I really don't like to have to reiterate and circle back around, but it's funny how I don't know what that is. It's the first time I seen a video, a reaction video, actually bringing up old stuff like that. You know what I mean? Even Rodney from LA got at me when I made my video, because I had said I think Rodney from LA had got lost and didn't remember where he was at, you know. And Rodney from LA acknowledged what I was saying, you know, and you know, you know, whatever was said was between me and him, but it is what it is, you know. That was not their barrio. I don't know where their barrio is. And even back in the days, it wasn't really their barrio. They were trying to get a foothold, but it didn't take, man. They were stepping on too many toes and getting at the wrong people, man, and trying to put the hurt, you know. And things went really, really left for them, you know. Respects to the real Latin King gang, man, and all the neighborhoods involved with that, you know. But doing something like that is dishonorable, and not, that shit ain't feed, man. You know, that's some crazy 2024, 25 shit, you know. Never seen it, man. But anyways, maybe these young cats will find themselves an area where you know, they get a foothold and take over some neighborhood, you know. But the ones that were shown were definitely not their neighborhood. Despensa. It is what it is. Thank you for watching, and sorry for making this video so long. God bless you. God bless your families. People, stay free. We got to be here for when our family needs us, and that's the important thing. You know, all of this other stuff, it's all nonsense. But that's what's important, being available to our families. Thank you for watching. Hope I see you in the next video. Thank you very much.